guys and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here with the first update for my project Level Up. I restarted it this year, but it's one project that I started last year, and I explained kind of the project both obviously last year as well as in my introduction for this year, and that is my last video that went up in the series. But just to recap a little bit if you're new to the project, basically in this project you randomize a palette, or you can pick it, it's up to you, but I have decided to randomize. So you randomize the palette for level 1, which is where I am now. You use the palette once for each shadow, so you use it no pan left behind one time, and then you choose to hit pan on one eyeshadow. Once you have completed that goal, you can roll up to next level, which is level 2, where you use every eyeshadow twice and then hit 2 pans and so on. Once you complete level 5, you have the option to reset the project, which I think everyone is doing, because continuing on after that would be a bit of a challenge. But I have already held up the palette that I'm working on for level 1, which is the Club Nebula palette from Pan Those. I have loved working on this palette, and I'm going to go through with you the progress that I have on it. But before I jump into that, if you're new here, please consider subscribing. I would love to have you in the family. Let's jump into the video. So like I said, I am working on this palette here, and since I'm on level 1, I needed to use every single shade in here once and hit one pan in order to level up. And this is where my palette was last month. You can see that I already had 4 pans in the palette, and it already looked relatively loved. I had a few dips in other shades, and yeah, I'm just happy with how this palette is looking. But I was still excited to roll it in for level 1 because it is one of my favorite palettes, and it's one that I think is very suitable for winter, although the bottom row is a bit more summery. But that is, like I said, where I was with this palette last month, and this is where I am today. So I'm gonna go through each shade in order to tell you how many times I used each eyeshadow, and yeah, I'll let you know if I was able to level up or not. So the first eyeshadow in the palette is Firefly, which is beautiful duochrome right here. It has like a green base, as you can see, but it goes into like a pink shift. It's absolutely stunning. I used that one once. With the next one, which is 709, which is the slight blue matte, I also used once. Gravity, which is one of my favorite shades in the palette, I used twice. Then we have Queen of Blades and Void, which I used 1 time each. Moving on to the second row, we have the shade You're My Only Hope, which I used 3 times. It's a beautiful kind of pinky silvery shade. It's not a duochrome, but it's still very sparkly, and I really like that shade. Then we have the shade Naru, which I used once. We have Astro, which I used twice. Same actually with the rest of this second row. We have Rock Hopper and Cylon. I used both of those twice as well. Then moving on to the third row, we have the shade Celestial, which I managed to use 6 times in the past month. And you probably will be able to tell there that I was able to pan on this eyeshadow, which means that I did hit 1 pan in here. It's a beautiful kind of pink to gold duochrome. I really love these types of shades. And I did mention when I rolled this palette in that that was probably the eyeshadow that I was going to focus on, and it was the one that I decided to go with. And I already had a little bit of a dip, and also with these eyeshadows, especially the shimmers, they are a bit more crumbly, and when I use this all over my lid just because it is so duochrome. I like putting those all over my lid to see the full effect of them. But yeah, it took me 6 uses to hit pan on that eyeshadow. Then we have Nova, which is another kind of duo multichrome. I don't know which in here are counted as multichromes and which one was a duochrome, but this one goes from like a blue to a pink shift, and this is more an iridescent shade. I used this one once. Then for the last 3 shadows, we have Samus, Nebula and Red Giant, and I used all 3 of these 2 times each. So if you have been counting, I was able to use every single eyeshadow in this palette, and I was able to hit 1 pan, which means that I was able to level up to level 2. I'm really happy again that I was able to reach for this palette because it is one of my favorites, and it is looking very loved now. It looks even more loved than before, but I'm still excited to roll in a new palette for level 2. So I have pulled up my Tiny Decisions app. This is where I choose my palettes, and I have all my eyeshadow palettes here, and you can see Club Nebula there has already been blacked out because I pulled up before. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull my level 2 palette. When it comes to palettes, anything goes really. I do have, I think, 5 vetoes for the year, so if I roll something and I don't really want to work on it, I can veto it, but I try not to. But yeah, worst case scenarios, I can veto, but I will hopefully try to work on what I get. So let's just see what I get if I roll. So the palette that I rolled is Subculture, which will be fine. It's not really the most kind of spring tone palette, but I guess we are still in February, so it's not super, you know, spring time yet, so it will work. But this is the palette here. I did already pull it out, and as you can see, I already have a lot of pans in this palette, so it will be harder to pick eyeshadows to choose a pan, because I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 options to pick from, and I need to hit 2 pans. The ones that I can hit pan on is Fudge, Destiny, All Star, Mercury, or Access here. So it will be a bit more difficult than other ones, but some of these I might be able to use as liners, so maybe it won't take too long. Also, no shimmers left to hit pan on. I hit pan on every shimmer in here. I mean, the Subculture only has 3 shimmers. It has Cube, Electric, and Roxy. Electric is my absolute favorite shade. But just looking at it now, I think I was gonna say one that I will hit pan on is Fudge, but I'm working on Cypress Umber still, but I think maybe those two will be nice as a gradient. I will try that out, and maybe I will hit pan on that one because I already have a little bit of a dip in that eyeshadow, but we'll see. So that will be the first one. I think All Star will be too similar to other things that I'm panning, so I don't think I will go for that one, although it's a beautiful eyeshadow. Again, we'll see how it goes when I actually pick out things though. I think Axis might be nice because it's a different type of tone than everything else that I'm panning. And it might work well with the shade Amsterdam from my Pan palette, which is the Nick Taurus palette with Beauty Bay. But we'll see. Yeah, I just have to play around with the palette to see what else I'm panning, see what is similar to other things that I'm panning, or what can go with other things that I'm panning, and then take it from there. But I am excited for this palette. I'm hoping to again roll this out in a month's time, because with the lower levels that's what I try to do. But since there's only mattes in here, and since it might take a little bit longer to pan on, I'm not sure, but if I focus on it, I might be able to do it. But that is my quick and sweet update for Project Level Up. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Also, I do have a playlist linked down below with everyone else who's doing this project. I have created a community playlist, so both from last year and this year, all the videos are in there, so go and check out everyone else who's doing this. There's been loads of people joining in this year, which I'm so excited about. I get excited every time I see a video pop up from Project Level Up. It just makes my day. I search for new videos every day, but for some reason, if I have missed you and you are participating in this project, let me know down below and I will make sure to add you to the playlist. But again, I hope you're having a lovely day wherever you are, and I'll catch you in my next one. Bye guys.